Hey everyone, I'm Claire Keil and welcome to Open Up's Body Positivity Chat with Sara Smith, Director of Community Engagement at Care Lodge. I will be your host as Open Up Mississippi's Coordinator and the Miami State Office Youth Engagement Coordinator. Sara, would you like to introduce yourself?
Part of the role and what I do is I talk about things that could be said or done in a relationship that may not be easily spotted, or when it happens and shows up in a relationship, you're not really sure what to do with it.
Awesome, let's get started. So Sara, that really makes me wonder, as a youth, how did you define your body image and worth?
A lot of things that influenced me as a youth had to do with my relationships and unresolved worldview. There was a lot of things that was influencing how I believed about the world around me at that time. And I had very loose core values. And what I mean by that is I let my compass be other people a lot of the time. So if my friends were saying that, certain kinds of outfits and whatever was more attractive or appealing, that's kind of what I leaned toward, even though it may not have been appealing on me. And that's not being negative towards myself, but you just have to learn what your style is along the way. Like the same things we wore when we were teenagers may not be the same thing we need to wear as adults. So you just really have to look at your situation and find things that you feel comfortable wearing and things that make you feel good about yourself. And with the core values, you really need to look at a couple different things that really orients your decision making. So is it peacefulness in your life? Is it feeling a sense of stillness or truth? Now, a lot of people say the things that are really important to me in life are basketball and making good grades. Well, those aren't really values. Values are more like truth, honesty, respect, balance, things like that. Well, if truth and honesty are your core values, then you don't want to make a decision that's going against being truth to yourself and honest about the person who you really are, if that makes any sense.
How do you see yourself impact your viewpoint moving forward?
The way that I dated had a lot to play on the way I viewed myself moving forward, because I was dating at a really young age, in my opinion. I was in 7th grade dating people that were high school students. And, when you're that age, that seems like a major win. But looking back, I can really see a lot of warning signs when you're dating at a young age and you're dating somebody much older than you when you guys are still in school. The developmental impact there is a lot greater than if you are adults dating 3, 4, and 5 years older than you. Major difference there. And I weighted my worth and opinions based on their feedback. So if they didn't see me as enough, I did not view myself as enough. And it didn't matter who told me I was good enough. I put a lot of weight on what they said and how they responded to me. So, and a lot of that was me compromising a lot of my loose core values, right? I was not using core values like truth and honesty and respect and self-worth and contentment. I was so wrapped up in what was important to them. And I thought that if I aligned myself with their lifestyle rules, then I would be accepted and loved and feel worthy of their love. And that's where we get into some conflict. Later on, reorienting my why behind my wardrobe and appearance made a huge difference. When I tried to stop focusing on attracting other people and focusing on myself, my health, and what mattered to me, then I started attracting people who were on the same path as me, which is a lot healthier than trying to attract people just to date somebody. And I totally get being in the friend zone and not having anybody that you can call a boyfriend or girlfriend. But really compromising your time and compromising your values just to be in a relationship can be very detrimental to your health. And in a little bit, we're going to talk about some of the warning signs when you are in a relationship that's potentially dangerous or abusive, what that might look like. As I grew older, I limited my intake of the ideal shape and attractiveness, and I really tried to figure out, what made me feel good about me. Like even hairstyles, you can Google search short haircut styles for blondes. You're going to come up with 1,001 opinions, and you're going to be overwhelmed at them. It's like going to a sandwich shop and trying to figure out what kind of sandwich you want to order when there's 2,000 things that you can choose from. Look at what you want to do. Go with that. Try it out. Be kind to yourself.
I love how you're saying that we really do need to take care more of ourselves.
I mean, really, if you feel good from the inside out, you're going to feel attractive. You're going to radiate that into life. It's really simple, but you don't think about it when it's going on. You're like, okay, I want to dress to the nines. I want to wear all this makeup. I want to have my hair done perfectly, because if I'm not perfect, filter perfect, then I'm not going to be attractive, right? So I got a really good example about filter perfect. These are just a few Snapchat filters, and you can see how, you know, the big mouth example is just a funny one, but the picture all the way to the left is just me, and I wear glasses. But oftentimes when we take pictures of ourselves, we change the way we look. And if you really zoom in, you can see I have blemishes, you can see I have wrinkles, I don't have hardly any makeup on. But as you go through the different filters, you know, we've got like this golden hour with ooh la la eyes that looks like I'm crying actually, because my eyes look super glassy. And then I don't know what this really soft version of me is over to the far right. That's kind of strange in my opinion. Sure, I look all right, but it's taking away all of my natural flaws, which I guess that's the whole point of a selfie and a filter. But then you compare to these other ones, I've got these sparkles and big, huge eyes. And now my face is actually shorter than it really is. My cheeks are bigger here. My mouth is smaller. My eyes are bigger than they normally are. My eyelashes are longer and darker than they normally are. And I really feel like this is a false representation of myself, because if I said this is what I look like, I don't look like, I mean, I do not look like that at all. I mean, my hair is even darker. My eyebrows are darker. And then you move on, and then you've got, I think this is the wild eyes, where it makes my eyes look more piercing and wet again. And I've got like a makeup soft finish touch, but you can tell it's fake because you can't see the green trees in the background. And then the one over here, again, changes the shape of my face, the shape of my nose, the size of my facial features, and the pigmentation of my skin. So again, this is not my true self. And who's to say which one is more beautiful than the other? It's all me, but I'm portraying myself in different viewpoints. So do I want to portray myself as big old doll eyes, which I don't have? Or do I want to look at a picture of myself and be like, let me look at the things that I like about myself. This. And oh my gosh, you know, Claire, I just saw an example of this the other day and I laughed out loud because I knew you were going to be talking about this. So there's this new thing called Jazzercise. Have you seen that commercial?
Not.
It's this thing you put in your mouth and you just go, and it's like you're chewing on this piece of like silicone, and it's supposed to give you a chiseled jaw. All the men right now are going, I don't know, they're doing this thing with their jaw and it's like popping their jaw out. So I don't know. I think that's the new thing. It's not just women, it's men too.
And I really like the idea of you using the Snapchat filters. Who can honestly say lately that they've sent a picture without the filter? Because who sends pictures without a fun filter anymore? You know, it's all we see in the magazines. It's all we see on the Snapchat social media is just the idea of perfection. So that what really does body positivity mean?
So for me, the number one and only thing is healthy contentment. It doesn't mean that we're supposed to neglect health, hygiene, and holistic wellness. So what that all means is if you feel like you're overweight, or maybe you're getting teased at school or work because you have a few extra rolls or creases. Look, I've been there, done that. When I was younger, I thought I was fat and I was not, I mean, my BMI was fine, but that was stuck in my head. I didn't want to eat anything. I would even skip lunch at school a lot or eat just a little bit at dinner time, but really nothing for breakfast. And I was miserable and sick all the time. And I was flipping through some of my old pictures of myself in middle school and my freshman year in high school. And I was just so very skinny, you know, 115 pounds, 120 pounds for somebody who's about 5'4". That is really unhealthy BMI. Our body mass index, which is how they look at your weight compared to your height and your age. And that was unhealthy for me at that age, and it would be extremely unhealthy for me to be that weight right now. So instead of eating healthier foods or just not caving into sugary and carb stuff all the time, I just quit eating altogether, and I would just have drinks like soda drinks or water drinks. But when you start putting in foods that are healthy for you, vegetables, low sugar fruits, less sugary drinks or caffeinated drinks, which is hard for me because I'm a huge coffee fan and I love creamer, but that will hurt your gut. And when you don't feel good on the inside because of your intake, you are not going to feel good on the outside. Hygiene. When you have good hygiene, you wash yourself, you put deodorant on, you wash your feet, you wash your clothes. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I wasn't looking for a guy that was stank. I was looking for somebody who smelled good and they washed their hair, they weren't greasy or had, they didn't smell funk, right? Parents are gonna love this. Part of that's cleaning your bedroom and making sure that your dirty stank outfits that you wore the day before out in that summer heat is not sitting on the floor in your bedroom and stinking up your room while you're sleeping, because that will make a huge difference too. And for complexion things, you want to make sure that you wash your bedding at least every 1 to 2 weeks. I know that's hard, but y'all, it's just as good as flossing every day. You need to make sure you take care of them toofs and take care of them dirty sheets. Holistic wellness means every part of your being. So you are emotionally healthy, you're physically healthy, you're socially healthy, you're not isolating yourself, you're hanging out with people who are uplifting and supportive to you, you're spiritually healthy, you live by your values and your morals, and you feel a sense of balance in life. That's what that means. And when you have that sense of balance and wholeness because you are healthy, you're gonna feel good on the inside and you're gonna look healthy on the outside.
Yeah, so that is so true about the room situation. I feel like I feel much better about myself when my surroundings are together as well. And that is true about the not eating thing. It's better to give yourself healthy nutrients than not eat at all. A lot of people find it hard to make the right choices. So they're like, I'm not going to make a choice at all. But really, that gets your nutrients down. You feel way low, and you do need, your healthy fruits and vegetables. So how can we focus on our health instead of our physical image?
When we're focusing on our health, we're doing some of these things here. We're eating a balanced diet. Maybe it's an economic or financial situation, especially right now with coronavirus. There's a lot of family members out of work, and it's hard to get a hold of some things that you normally would have been eating, like fresh fruits and vegetables. But I will say a lot of the school programs are doing meal deliveries. So if you are having a hard time finding food at the house, call your local school and let them know that you want to still connect to the lunch and breakfast delivery system and see what the options are available to you. But eating a balanced diet, lots of water, especially in the summertime, we're supposed to drink at least, 64 ounces of water. I don't know, do you do that? Yeah, I'm trying right now, but when you get into the habit of it, your body will start craving that. So just make it a habit. Your body will start changing, and your food palate or your taste buds will start changing to want things that are more healthy for you. But if you eat a bunch of sweet stuff, you're going to want to start craving junk and more salt, because your palate has developed a taste for those things. So choosing to become active for at least 30 minutes every day. I know that my husband and I, and sometimes our kids will join us, so we'll go for a walk down our road, which really equates to less than 2 miles, but it's still getting out and you're together with your family. Or you can choose, again, friends or somebody who's supportive, someone who speaks positive into your life and not somebody who wants to talk about, did you see so-and-so story? I mean, that's negative and that brings you down. And believe it or not, when you're with friends or family members that talk about the negative appearance or what they don't like, what they see in other people on social media, it's going to get in your head and you're going to start getting these things implanted in and being like, oh, wow, that must not be attractive. They're saying that if I wear that kind of makeup or my eyeshadow like that, that I look like I'm a fast girl, then maybe I shouldn't wear my makeup like that. Or that name brand is so 20 years ago, nobody wears that anymore, but maybe that's what's in your closet. And then you start thinking that, man, I really don't have anything. right? Even though you do, but because of somebody's opinion, you think you don't have anything when you're really blessed and you have a lot. It's just your value system is being aligned with somebody else's instead of owning your own worldview and being content with what you have. There's nothing wrong with going shopping and buying new clothes, but don't be ashamed of who you are and what you have because somebody else is body shaming somebody on the internet or in person. That's all I'm saying.
For sure. I love when people have their own style, you know, like they have their own style that just, I'm like, where did you see that? You know, like you love their pieces they choose. It's so unique and different. And I will also attest to being a water addict. I'm addicted to drinking water because that's right. When you retrain your brain and stop the sodas and stop the coffee, and you're like, oh, like I'm going to try to drink water. At first, I feel a little low, like I'll like, where's that jolt I was used to? But now if I drink the soda or something, I'm like, whoa, what is that? You know, like that's not water. So what kind of people should we be aligning ourselves with?
Somebody who understands your goals and value system and helps support your walk in that. So you want to associate yourself with others who encourage you in your goals and speak life into you. Learning to love yourself just the way you are. So in addition to that, we want to feel safe and supported with these people. We don't want to feel like we're having to be on guard all the time. We want to be able to feel like we can be both vulnerable and receive positive course correction from these friends or family members. Because perfect example, like my husband, I feel safe around him. I've always told him that. He was one of the first people that I really truly, in my young years, felt like I could open up to, and he wouldn't make me feel bad about myself. He's somebody that would listen to me and affirm me, but if I was in the wrong, he was always there to give me that positive course correction. And it's funny because he quotes one of his coworkers who said, this may not sound good to you, but it's good for you. And you know, you always roll your eyes at something like that, but you know it's true, right? Like if I'm having a bad day and I say something that's just not nice or I'm just short, he'll be like, look, I don't know what's been going on today, but you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself or something like that. And I'll be like, oh, okay. But they have our best interest in mind, and they're not a toxic person who we have to constantly make excuses for. And I think that was in the business of that. And there's a lot of people who were in the business of that with their current partner. Oh, they only did that because they're upset or coronavirus is going on and they're normally not angry if they're not drinking, but it's whenever they're drinking, they hit me or they cuss me out. Don't make excuses for people's behavior because you don't deserve treatment like that. One thing that's frustrating, I know for somebody who, when you have someone close to you that's going through this and they're dating someone who's toxic, they're always validating why they need to stay together. And a lot of times they feel like they can fix that person, or if I love them enough and I stick with them through all of this, it's going to change them and they will start doing better because of me. And when they see what I have done, they'll be different. And that's not true. You cannot change anybody no matter how much you try. You can be a good influence, but if it's somebody who's attacking you verbally, physically, or any kind of way making you feel less than, it's not a good relationship to be in.
So with that being said, how can we seek out a positive dating relationship for ourselves?
Start with friendship. I have a 16-year-old son who is looking for people who are going to be uplifting for him. And I always say, look, start with a friend, get to know them, ask why. Why are you finding yourself attracted to this person? What attracts you to them? Why are you wanting to have this relationship go further? Because when you start asking yourself why and your motives behind why you have a relationship with people, it really gets down to the fundamental and foundation of what your relationship will be built on from then out. So what is your motive for wanting to date somebody? Is it for just somebody to talk to, or is it friendship? A lot of times when we start dating somebody, it's better to have been friends with them than to engage in a relationship. A lot of people that have been in certain relationships that were not healthy said, man, we were better friends than we were boyfriend and girlfriend or whoever their partner was. And I'm like, wow, I mean, there's a lot to that statement. And a lot of people, hindsight's 2020, you don't know until it's already happened. So is the relationship mutually beneficial? Are both of you being supported and uplifted? Or is one of you having to give yourself all the time all your effort, all the emotional feedback and support, where the other one is needing it all. And if that makes any sense, is it imbalanced? Are your values aligned? Because rarely ever does a couple work out when they don't share the same sorts of values. For instance, if one of you wants a relationship where you can see other people, but the other one wants to be your only boyfriend or girlfriend, there's going to be an issue there. That's not an alignment of values. Another thing is look for the warning signs. For instance, do they have a history of broken relationships? Look at the relationships they've left behind. Even if they're the ones telling you, well, I was just dating people who were not good for me. They were cheating on me, so I broke up with them. People tell you the version of the story they want you to know. So always remember to take things with a grain of salt and look at the whole situation. I'm not saying go investigate and ask everybody's exes what kind of partner they were, but do kind of look at the track they've left behind. Do they always blame others for or their circumstances for their actions? Where do they get their motivation from? What are their core values? Another thing is, do they have a known history of criminal activity? I don't mean just robbing gas stations and getting in fights, but are they underage and are they smoking or vaping or drinking? Because technically that's illegal. So if they're doing things like that and you're not walking that path and you're trying to live right, follow the law and follow the rules, dating somebody who's into things like that, again, I thought I could change people by true love to get them to stop doing things that were like that. And you know what happens? You get sucked right into that tidal wave right along with them. And I'm not saying you'll end up doing it, but you could get in very serious trouble just by associating yourself with someone who is. And here's a big one. This is a little bit more lighthearted, but are they the same person in all situations? Like, for instance, are they the same person in their profile on Snapchat than they are Instagram or another social media platform? Or how about, are they the same person on their adult friendly profile as they are on their private stories? That's a big difference too. Do they talk bad about people? Because they're going to do the same things to you. What does this have to do with body positivity? Everything, because there's subtle messages that they do. When you align yourself in a relationship with somebody who attacks other people verbally, bullies or harasses other people online, or shames other people for the way they look or who their family is, then chances are they're going to send similar messages to you in your friendship or your dating relationship with them. So look for the other warning signs, or if somebody has told you in the past or tried to warn you about them, like, you don't need to be dating them, they're no good, you need to listen. Listen to what they have to say. Don't cut them off. Consider what they have to say, is all I'm saying. A famous quote our youth pastor says all the time is, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Very, very true. Our parents' generation said birds of a feather flock together, or you are who you hang with. It's the same thing with mindset. Have a positive mindset. Be strong there. Be confident there, and rub off on people around you. Have a strong set of core values and beliefs and see where that can take you. Because when you're confident in yourself and you're competent in your own abilities, there is no telling how far you can go. Really quick, body shaming. It's a form of abuse that a partner uses, an attempt to control the amount of food you consume or not in order to change your appearance. It's a form of manipulation, and that stuff can sit in the back of your mind long after that relationship ends. If a new pattern of body positivity is not developed, depression, low self-esteem, and eating disorders often come along with an unhealthy view of body image. So the most important thing right there is learning to love yourself after a toxic or abusive relationship often takes time and support from others who believe in your success. I love that, love that, love that.
Yeah, I feel like everything you said, you repeat 1,000 times because it had so much greatness to it. You know, that is true. Who you surround yourself with is what you will become. That is so true. And it is so true what you said about, you know, just the small things that you notice that your friends are doing, they do lead to other bigger things. You know, he might have just tried a cigarette, but, you know, that kind of mentality could lead to something else. And I know that, Sarah, you and I lovely discussion. And I wanted to personally ask you today, can you tell me a little bit about your story involving physical maturity, teen pregnancy, and can you tell me a little bit more about how you have experienced that and like the way it changed you moving forward?
When I was 17, I was dating a guy who had very similar values as me. So I was definitely practicing what I'm preaching today. I had distanced myself, or we both had distanced ourselves from things that we didn't want to be in alignment with anymore. But in the true sense, when you have a very strong emotion for somebody and you love them very much and the feeling is mutual, having a lot of time alone often opens up doors that you may not be ready for as a youth. So make sure that if you truly love somebody and you guys are wanting to take things to a deeper level, hold yourselves accountable and don't go any farther than you're ready to go. I'm not here preaching any kind of sex education or anything, but I'm telling you my story because I think it's important for you to know. It's important for your values to be in alignment with somebody that you say you love. So when I was 17, I found myself pregnant, and I was in the spring semester of my junior year, and it was a very strange time because you could start seeing changes visibly that I was pregnant. And it got really weird at school because I was scared that, you know, I was a straight A student. I loved learning, I still do, but you know, there's rumors that go around. When you have a girl that gets pregnant in high school, all sorts of things are said behind their back. I knew because I heard them. I heard them said just like what I just got through saying, y'all. When you hear other people speak unkindly about others, if you find yourself falling in the same situation, you hear those records being repeated in your head, even if nobody ever says them to you. You remember what was told and said about somebody else in a similar situation. So automatically, I was creating this narrative in my mind that I was unworthy of love and that I wasn't pretty because I had made a decision and I had ended up pregnant as a teenager. So people were telling me that I looked pregnant in my clothes. Well, it's because I was, but it freaked me out. And I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel like I was my age anymore. I felt like I was an other that was unworthy. And it was such a horrible feeling. In contrast, when I was 27, I noticed that things were really changing within my body. I found myself pregnant for the second time, same guy that I had married as a youth. Very rare circumstance that ever works out. So I'm extremely blessed to be with somebody who supports me, who stood by my side this whole time and continues to work out life with me. Again, we've continued working out because we have the aligned values and we're on the similar path for our goals in the future. And that's how things work out. So wrinkles and stretch marks, babies happen. And the way that I viewed myself over time, even from 10 years apart, my kids are 10 years apart, my body didn't bounce back the way that it did when I was younger. And I had a little bit of a hard time with that because I was used to looking fit and being fit, but I had to try harder. The older you get, you have to try harder because your metabolism slows down and you just don't bounce back from things the way you do. And just like my example I gave earlier with the Snapchat filters, I could choose to say my blemishes, my wrinkles and everything define my beauty and worth. And I could hide behind a filter and let that be who I want to be portrayed as on social media. Or I can embrace the way that I look here. Like, I don't have a filter right now. This is just me. And I even took my glasses off so you could see me. But just because you have a different appearance or if you have freckles on your face, don't think that you're not worthy or beautiful. If you have braces, if you have red hair, if you have purple hair, if you have no hair, you are good enough just the way you are. And like Claire and I were saying earlier, it's what's on your inside that matters the most because that beauty radiates, your health radiates from the inside out and blesses people all around you. So when you have a positive attitude and you choose to align yourself with people that are around you who are positive too, you are going to be a wave maker. And it always helps when you have family and mentors to support you along the way. So I encourage you to find somebody older than you that can speak life into you and support you just the way you are. Claire, I have to share this recent reminder because, you know, when you talk about a topic, oftentimes life gives you real examples. And this one happened Saturday, literally a couple days ago. I was going out to a bridal fitting from my sister-in-law's wedding, and I saw that she had posted a Snapchat picture. I'm calling myself out. I was going to wear Nike shorts, a t-shirt, and I believe it was this shirt here over. And I saw the picture of her and her daughter, and they were gorgeous in the picture. Gorgeous. They were so pretty. Their hair was done. They had pretty makeup. And I was like, oh, heck to the no. I am not going to be showing up being the only one underdressed. So I went and ran to my room, and I got this cute little dress on and came back out and asked my older son, I said, how does this look? Do I look okay? And he's like, I guess, yeah, that looks fine. Why? And I said, well, I saw the picture and and he said, Mama, you don't have to compare yourself to other people. You're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to get dressed up to go try on a dress. And I was like, beautiful reminder that I'm okay just the way I am. So I compromised healthily for a nice shirt and jeans and some comfy shoes. But I wanted to be holding myself accountable, Claire, because I knew I was going to be talking about this topic, and my son had to call me out in a kind way and just feel good about the way you're dressed, because you don't have to change who you are to be liked. And it's like, man, I'm still dealing with this, and I'm 34. This kind of stuff doesn't go away, y'all. I mean, we're constantly in this mode of comparison because we're human, and we get these messages all the time, whether it's on social media or in person, where you feel like, am I good enough? And yes, you are. You are good enough just the way you are.
Wow, yes. What a beautiful soul and story that was, Sarah. I really appreciated that. I know Open Up Mississippi appreciated you joining us today for Open Up's Body Positivity chat. And I really love everything that you shared with us.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me talk about it, because I know it's something that was really hard for me as a youth. But I still, even today struggle a little bit. But I have people around me, Claire, that speak into me and remind me that I don't have to compete. I don't. What am I competing for? Nothing. We're fine just the way we are.
If you are, in school and you're surrounded by bullies, that's the number one thing you can do, is choose the right people to keep around yourself. Choose positive people. Choose friends that show you it's okay to be, the goody two-shoes in class, the one that doesn't make fun of the teacher, the one that turns in their homework on time. That pays off. It really does. So I'm really glad that you were able to share that with us today on a different angle. So it's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My conversation with Claire was a great reminder that the way that I view myself, or the way that you view yourself and your body image, can be a positive or negative thing, depending on what we put into our mind and what we receive as truth into our life. So remember to surround yourself with people who love and support you and encourage you to be the best version of yourself.